let's get the plane out. A lot of things that are prep work that you need to do. Clear, first of all, you're going to need to clear everything from the wings coming. They'll come down and out. So the gas cans have to go out. The ladder has to go out. These ramps need to go up on there. I'll show you that in just a second. You see how it's in right now. So it kind of gives you an idea of this is when it's fully packed, what it's going to look like. And you know, you're mounted, of course, like this and here, mounted here to keep it from side to side. These shock straps are really important right here that go side to side, because it really keeps the plane from doing a lot of this, and it really keeps it down on the stands and locks it down really nice. And then of course the yellow block in the front is nothing is tied to it, but what it does is it keeps the teeter-totter effect from happening here. So what you don't want is the tail hitting up here. And so in order to keep that from happening, that front wheel right there is on that block. So it can't go too far without hitting that block, and then the plane stops it. So all of this stuff is important to do. So first let's get the stands on the car. So the first thing you do here is release these straps, get them out of the way. Come out of there. Okay, there we go. Put them to the side like this, then watch your feet. And pull this stand up, put it all to the side. It goes right in these little grooves right there. Just kind of slick. And then I pull this up here like this, and then I'll strap it just to make sure that the stand doesn't go anywhere. I'll put it like here if you want to, and just make sure that it doesn't pull itself off for any reason. Let's go after these. Pull these off. Here, like this. You can see it's just kind of strapped over the gear like this. And pull that off, lay it on one side. Get the other one here. There. And pull that off. Okay. And then we'll put that, you'll have to move the tail. And by the way, get yourself a good set of knee pads. Essential for this kind of work. We're running around in here. Again, release this, pull it off to the side, and the ramp comes up. Red thing up there, and just tighten it up. Again, just as a precaution. So at this point, everything's still kind of wrapped down. You got these here to keep it from rolling. Okay, so everything is safe at this point. So our next trick is to start pulling apart the back on the tail, and a couple of things are necessary to do that. I tell you what, let's do this before I forget about it. This stuff all has to go out. Gas cans out. Also kind of nice, you've got a vent right here that is right above the gas can, so it pulls all the fumes out. It's kind of nice. It's coming loose. And you just put the ladder here. And I'm also going to give you this pouch with the key tools in it for doing it. I just kind of get that ready to go there. Put this stuff all out of the way, clear. So one of the first things you need is this ratchet right here. Here we go. And we can start taking apart the tail assembly. So you get up close on that, you'll see it's kind of it's a U-bolt that is put over this. And tightens down on, it's got a little gaskets like a rubber hose there. This rubber on the bottom here is to keep it from messing up the car. So if you don't have a car underneath it, you may not need that. It's up to you. But it, you know, it's kind of an extra precaution there. When I finish these, I'll put them over there. Keep them out of the way. Those don't go anywhere. This comes off. You see I've got spacers there because it's a really long bolt. Save you some time, and also make sure it's secure down there. So that one comes off. You see this one is the one I put down first, kind of a locking nut there, and then just a spacer. That's all those are doing. And then comes off. All right, and the tail is free. Leave all that stuff over there. Now we come over to this. So unscrew it. Notice when I put it on, these little spacers are in here, and the spacers are important. They'll go on a different way when we put on the little tail thing. Then that comes out. Might have to wiggle it a little bit. There, and it's out. Okay, and then that comes over here, as you will need it again in just a minute. All right, now we're loose. It's still resting on this bar. Now we have to get into this. So the next mechanism you have to be concerned about is over here. This is the winch to pull the tail up and to secure it. Now, come here. So I just tie it up here, you know, out of the way. Kind of keep it from rubbing if you can, because that's what caused all these things. Is this little, you know, as you go down the road, it just started to pull the paint off a little bit. So try to secure it out of the way. You might even want to put a towel down or something if that means a lot to you. Okay, you get that loose. This is where you tie it off. This is the safety. Okay, when it's tied to this little lift here, you know, you'll know everything is solid. You'll notice here it has to come down through the center. Okay, so all of this stuff has to come down through the center. You'll see in a minute I had to actually take it out of there. Pull it down here, wrap it under. There. Okay, and snap it on. There. Okay, now you'll have to watch that lift. Make sure it doesn't get crossed up, just like any time you do that. And then you'll lift, and you'll see it come up like an inch or two, right? And then you tie it off right here. This is important. Tie it off right here. Make sure it's secure. And now it's safe. Okay? And now we go after this. This bar comes off here. You'll see what this is for in a minute, but this is kind of an important piece of the party here. But I just kind of lock it on right there. Pull this out. Put it down. Pull this out. These are important. You want to absolutely make these things sure these things are in here. Otherwise, it can shift forward and fall out of here. So we'll make sure those are in. I usually come off this one first. Watch here. That's where all this happened. You know, the scuffing here is you got to watch this little thing here. It'll try to bite the plane. So be careful with it. And it comes off. It goes right. Okay, so now you're safe on the wheels, you're safe on the tail. Now we put the tail wheel assembly on. I've always found it's a little easier to go ahead and run this out, because this thing tries to get underneath it and jam things up a little. All right, you start here at the front. That little bar comes out. these convenient little holes that Kitfox builds in the plane for exactly this reason. One goes in there and across, and then whoop, and out. Okay. Lock it down. And then that other bar comes back into play. Here's where you want to watch. I'll let one off. These now become spacers inside. Okay, so you'll put the spacer in here like this. That keeps this stuff, the metal, from digging into the plane. Okay, so it kind of keeps it off a little bit. And you find the hole, put it in. Same thing, that spacer, the spacer on the other side, through the hole, out, and lock it down. And you're ready to rock. Okay, so that is now ready to go. Let's go ahead and pull this out. One of the finer engineering jobs ever. You know, look at how it's rigged onto the wheel, but this is strictly for guidance. Okay, you don't ever want to pull on this handle. What you want to do is get one of these straps here and put it on the tail, and that's how you actually pull if you need to. Is with this. Don't ever pull on this because it'll come apart. It's just for guidance. And you just guide the plane out. I'll put this over here. All right. Now, another good check here. Make sure, okay, everything's cool, everything's clear. We've got our tail on. Okay, we're ready to come down with the back end of the plane. Now, you'll need two things. This is the winch we talked about. This is reversed, okay? So whenever this thing was, wherever I set it up, I had to buy a new remote. So when it says extend, that is retract. When it says retract, that is extend. So you'll figure it out pretty quick, but that's reversed. Push the button in the middle, and blue light comes on, and you're ready to go. Now, we do this, and you will make sure you latch onto this rope, because when it comes undone, it's coming down. Okay, so now you got it. We're controlling it, and it comes down to the point. Well, in this case, I didn't ever retract it in this case, so you don't have to worry about it. But usually you'll tighten up that winch in the front to make sure everything's ready for, it's as tight as it can be for going down the road. So I didn't need it this time, but a lot of times you'll have to let it out in order to get the tail down, which is kind of a good thing. So there you go, we're down. This no longer in play for the moment. Now our tail lift can come off. And what we do, run this all the way up. Pull this out. And that's where this comes in, the boat hook. Yeah. Keep this handy somewhere where you can just grab it right around here in the corner. And what you do, grab these lines, pull that out of the way. Set the boat hook up there. Okay, this comes out. That's what this is about. Okay, this little line that I showed you earlier. You hook it on there like that. Whoops. Put both lines inside the hook. One goes there, the other one just hook it. And then what happens is you come over here against the wall and you pull it out of the way.